Be like, I'm here. And okay.
Hi, I'm Emily. I live in Chongqing, and today I want to talk to you about screen time in China. I left my home country 10 years ago, so I've been keeping up with my home culture and my family and friends through screens, even pre-pandemic. It's easier than it would have been 20 years ago, though. I would have had to find like a passenger pigeon, and it would have had to find a cargo ship. And this all seems pretty improbable. Some people say screens are a menace. Their content is addicting, and people spend too much time with their noses buried in their phone at the expense of real human connection. Do you ever spend too much time on Twitter? I know I spent this morning reading about Elon Musk saying nasty things about Bernie Sanders instead of working on that project that I really care about. Parents today are very worried about screen time. I mean, when I was a kid, there was an injunction about watching too much TV, and also sitting too close to the TV was a thing to be worried about. But parents today, it's like screen time is a drug that must be kept from the children at all costs. And no one really wants to think about children in withdrawal. Chinese parents worry about screen time too. They're also very concerned with the sitting too close part. I've seen a lot of Chinese parents correct their children's posture by pushing up on their forehead to take their eyes away from the thing they're looking at, even if it's on paper. We know how precious time is. There are countless songs and movies and stories all about how we have to hold on to every moment and what a sin it is to waste time. We especially love to judge the way other people use their time. But I'm convinced that ever since the dawn of downtime, humans have been pretty inventive of how to make that time pass faster. Life can feel long and endless sometimes. Screens are a particularly good way to fill that up. As the great philosopher 𝗖𝗵cie once said, "It's all your fault. I screen my phone calls." I'm an English teacher at Chongqing Medical University, and since we had a recent flare-up of COVID, all of our classes have gone online, and it's awkward, for all the usual reasons. The thing that I feel most uncomfortable with is, like, when we start class, I feel like I'm just talking to myself. in the classroom, I can see everybody's smiles or hiding behind their classmates and giggling, but on the screen, all I see is my own slideshow, so it feels like I'm talking to myself until I unmute their microphones and let them speak. But that moment always feels like jumping into a pool without checking if there's water first. I have no idea if like something went wrong or they just are like on student strike until I hear their voices come back to me. And then it does feel like there is some kind of connection happening through the screen. It's always a relief. When I was in college, I worked at a hardware store in the summers where they did window rescreenings, and they were always very satisfying to watch. To rescreen a window, you cut a size of screen that's slightly larger than the hole you're closing. And then you have a little plastic tube that runs around a channel on the outside of the window, and you use this like pizza cutter tool to push the tubing down into that channel. And never too tight, no wrinkles. Easy. When I was young, my family had this giant old CRT television, and it was old even at the time because it was a hand-me-down from my grandpa. And when it gave up the ghost, the ray just stopped going to the edges of the screen, so this picture just kept shrinking and shrinking. And I remember the last thing we watched on it was The Paper Chase, the movie, in this thin little ribbon, so you just saw everybody's abdomens, and that's why I didn't become a lawyer. Just kidding. I didn't become a lawyer because I hate conflict, and I can't tell when people are lying to me. I love movies. They're not a substitute for human experience, but they can give you a window into an experience that's different from your own. From your own living room, you can drop into someone's love story or a park where dinosaurs exist. I think that's amazing. You know, screens are just something we look through. Between moral panic and technological marvel, screens are just the tool. It's up to us to be mindful of how we use it. You're probably watching me on a screen right now. Unless you're here.